Alright, all you living horror movie lovers out there, welcome back to the Indy Radio Arcade. And now it's time for us to go into a special milestone edition of the $64,000 question. But before we go into this week's question, we asked you last week for approximately upwards of $183,000. Would you do the theme song of your favorite horror show in full costume of that said show? And yes, this does add in with the $89,000 Maestro included if you did the charm theme. And a couple of you out there were so eager to answer the questions, we only could take 3 of them, and we took 3 of the best. Cause the first one would say, can we do movies as well? Another person would say, can we add scenes from the actual intro of the show as well too for bonus money? And the last person would come up dressed up as not only Paige, Piper, but Phoebe and Leo from the show Charmed, singing, I am the sun and the air, I am human and I need to be loved, just like everybody else. And they added that in from the actual show after they finished the entire song. So, according to the Maestro, you're a winner, and he's adding on the extra $89,000 on top of the money we already gave you. So, congratulations, thanks to Maestro's over-obsession of the show Charmed, you're going home with well over $272,000. And never do that again, Maestro, unless you ask me first. And to the other 2, why yes, you can do movies as well. And as a matter of fact, I think for next year or next week, that may be our next $64,000 question. So for that suggestion, you get $50,000 for that alone. And to the other person, yeah, if you're able to include that as well, I'll tack on another $89,000 on top of that for next week's challenge if we decide to go with that $64,000 question, which we might, because it is an extension to the month of horror. Technically. But besides that, folks, it's time for us to go into this week's $64,000 question, where we asked you for well over $90 million. Would you do a VR simulation of your favorite horror film and try to survive till the end? And bonus, if you do survive till the end, will be approximately well over $20 million on top of that. But before you try to answer that VR simulation of a horror movie at home, folks, you're gonna have to wait another 2 weeks there, you 8-bit horrifying VR troopers, cause the Maestro's currently rolling out the machines, which means we've gotta bring this milestone edition of the show to an emphatic close. But if you miss anything for this week's special episode of the Indy Radio Arcade, we got you covered, because you can catch this show again one more time, all the time, on our SoundCloud, Facebook, or even Tumblr pages, all named the same, only known as Music Village Radio under the hashtag Indy Radio Arcade Lvl.90. And according to the Maestro, by next week we are getting that golden helmet to go along with the suit of armor we've been building for the past 90 episodes. Nice. And if you guys want to figure out other crazy and zany things that we still got prepared for these remaining days of this month of horror, heading directly into the month of instant classicness, like a suit of armor we will wear with pride once we complete it, you can go ahead and check it out on our YouTube/Twitter pages, still named the same, only known as the 00Agent 0012. And before we head out for the night, we would like to thank, as always, you the contestants out there for listening in to another 8-bit milestone monstrous proportion edition of the Indy Radio Arcade. And seriously, guys and girls out there, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening in to well over 90 episodes of this silly programming that we got from being inspired from not only games, but also from Motorhead as well. Yeah, We really do appreciate you guys listening in, and here's hoping we can make it to 100 together. And speaking of music, folks, we would like to thank you, the independent artists out there, for delivering that musical goodness like you always do. And like we said during the intro, folks, the music that drives us to help us get through this show, we appreciate all the inspiration you give for all your musical goodness, so keep up the great work. And finally, last but not least, but because of the show title itself, most importantly of all, we would like to thank you, the independent gamers out there, for coming out with all those sweet, sweet games that we had a chance to mention during this said show. And as always, guys, keep it up with those video game goodness that you have up your sleeves, because we need to keep this show up pumping and a breathing. So keep those games coming, and we'll keep mentioning them on this very show. Always, because we wouldn't call it the Indy Radio Arcade otherwise. And I guess with the creepy janitor giving us that look the Van Moose while pulling on that ripcord to let the gold and silver confetti rain to celebrate this milestone show, I'm DJ Smokey on behalf of the Maestro, on behalf of this month of horror, saying, when there's smoke, there's fire. And we would like to thank you for playing another 8-bit monstrous milestone edition of the Indy Radio Arcade. We're finished, man. We're done. Game over, man. Game over. And good night, everybody.